Good Wednesday to you. I'm Storm Team 9 Meteorologist Patrick Ellis here with your ENC Weather update for this Wednesday, the February the 5th, 2014. Well, today another odd day with a very stout cold air wedge across eastern North Carolina, keeping temperatures cool inland and quite warm as you head closer to the coastline. The next couple days, continued unsettled weather and even some mischief in the forecast. We'll detail that here in the forecast update video. Here's a look at the high temperatures today across the east. If you follow me on Facebook, obviously I put out my morning forecast discussion. And the morning forecast, I talked about that potential for areas to the north not making it to around 50 degrees or so. We made it 60 degrees rather. We made it to 59 in Greenville. Southern Pitt County, I'll say towards, out towards Chicod and out towards Stokestown, probably made it to about 61 or so. This afternoon. 61 at Kinston, 70 at Jacksonville, and 72 was the high temperature at New Bern. The current temperature, as we're doing this update, about 7 o'clock this evening, 52 in Greenville. The temperatures continue to tumble. 63 New Bern, 57 down at Morehead City. Look at the winds, though, especially for the coastal areas. West-southwest at 14, Hatteras. Southwest at 19 at Morehead City. And that southwesterly wind is bringing in warmer air over the cooler ocean. And now we've got sea fog developing. Carteret County has been the culprit with the sea fog the last several nights. Down to a quarter-mile visibility in Carteret County, pretty much all of Carteret County right now. But you head up the road just a couple of miles to Havelock, 10-mile visibility at Cherry Point. So it kind of depends on where you are this evening. So if you live down East Carteret County, right along the Bogue Sound, the Core Banks as well, out through that area, we're talking about some pretty stout fog tonight across that neck of the woods, even up towards Manteo. 4-mile visibility this evening, and New Bern checking in at 10 miles. Wouldn't be surprised if some of these pockets near the waterways start to see the visibility start to drop a little bit as we get that same type of effect continuing across the east. Low pressure and cold front now pushing offshore. We're going with partly cloudy skies tonight across eastern North Carolina, but we continue with a very active pattern as the southern branch of the jet stream continues to bring up the moisture, and these systems that come with it have been quite moisture laden. Tonight, temperatures will drop down into the 30s and maybe some upper 20s on the board tonight, especially in some of the cooler pockets and to the north of US 264 tonight. That's probably where we're going to see the temperatures drop maybe to about 30 degrees or so. Low and mid 30s as you head further down to the south. Likely to start off with some sunshine on Thursday, but the clouds will build in through the afternoon hours, but we should stay dry with temperatures in the low and mid 40s, upper 30s near the border belt. And like I said, you're going to stay dry as we head through the day on Thursday, but a north wind at about 10 miles per hour, going to make it feel like it's the 30s. So bundle up out there across the east. More moisture builds back in here with another little wave pushing across the region on Thursday night. Could bring us even a couple of light, maybe even a snow shower, maybe snow drizzle. Snizzle, we'll call it that, as we head into Friday, early Friday morning. This will be before sunrise. A lot of dry air at the surface, may not be able to make that, but you do see a couple little returns there on the model. And like I said, maybe one or two areas seeing a couple flurries as we head into early Friday morning. This would not produce any accumulation. And then we're clearing out by the time we head towards Friday. It looks like it should be a nice day on Friday afternoon with partly cloudy skies. Miller B making its way up the coast, and looks like it's going to be a wet Saturday and breezy as well along the coastal areas, but no severe weather look with that. But it is going to be a little bit on the soggy side through Saturday, and even a couple of light sprinkles and showers still possible through the evening hours as that low makes its trek offshore. Here's a look at the 12Z GFS run, and looking tomorrow, pretty dry. And like I said, low and mid 40s, but the brisk northerly wind's going to make it feel a little bit cooler to the skin. We'll take it out to early on Friday morning. And you see the GFS painting a little bit of moisture. I think it's a little aggressive on the moisture, actually. It's painting, generally very light amounts, but it's a wide swath. And you see the 540 line trying to make its way southward. That's in association with this little wave that's going to be pushing through late on Friday across eastern North Carolina. But it's a very minor wave. But you look at the zoomed in picture of this, and it's trying to spit out some snow. Now, granted, you got to look at this at face value because of the fact, you got to look at this a little broader spectrum because of the fact that we're looking at a 26-kilometer model trying to depict something that's maybe very minuscule, and it picks up on it and kind of makes it explode. So it's overdoing it, I think. But like I said, even on the precision forecast model, that's a 15-kilometer model, and it's got a little spritz and snow here or there. But like I said, not going to be anything of note as we head into Friday. By Friday afternoon, things start to get a little bit more civilized as high pressure builds back into the region. Temperatures should be able to rebound back into the upper 40s and low 50s that afternoon. The 540 line trying to make a retreat back up towards the north. And by the time we head towards, say, Saturday, there goes our Miller B, and it is coming up the coastline. The European, a lot more defined with this, very defined track on the European model. But like I said, this is going to be all rain, and it may be a little gusty for the coastal areas. And there's that little short wave within the main flow pattern pushing its way off towards the north. And it's not going to stick around very long. It gets out of here fairly quickly as we're in a fairly fast pattern. So everything should be gone by the time we head towards late Saturday night, and actually Sunday not looking too. And like I said, on Sunday, not too bad, and temperatures should be able to rebound back into the low 50s. And speaking of Saturday, going back just a touch, temperatures that day likely will be in the mid 40s, if that, with the clouds in place. So we'll just watch that. Monday, once again, continue dry for the most part, but the next system is down the pipeline. And the European is trying to squeeze out a little bit of QPF early on Monday morning. With the 540 line in place, we'll watch that. But right now, just not thinking it's going to be all that prevalent. And that's pretty much the only model that is picked up on that. And only one ensemble member of the GFS has picked up on that. So we'll watch it. But for the time being, just not all that confident in trying to put in major chances of anything on Monday, but I think the better chances do come in here on Tuesday. Now the GFS a little slower than the European model, but the problem here is that we're going to have a cold air wedge setting up as we head into Tuesday night into Wednesday. So we'll kind of step through this. It's Tuesday evening, 7 p.m. You see the wedge getting a little bit more defined there as you got low pressure developing down to the south, high pressure off to the north. And it's a very classic cold air wedge setup. But look at all that moisture streaming up from the Gulf of Mexico right up through Mississippi, Louisiana, and southeast Texas. We'll take you to 1 a.m. on Wednesday morning. Once again, the wedge in place, as that is looking quite defined there. We'll look at the surface output. And if that verifies, that is a very nasty looking ice event across a good swath of North Carolina. Now, I looked at the cross-section for the European. It's a little less defined, but the European still has a very good setup as far as that's concerned. It may not make it all the way off towards the east on the European. It may stop off at I-95, but the general consensus is, right now at least, that this could be a nasty setup for icing across a good chunk of North Carolina. This may be a fairly substantial ice storm if that does verify. Now, remember, we're still 7 days out from this. We got a lot of time to kind of work with this. And another thing that we're going to be combating that day, the wedge setup. Very similar to today, trying to erode the wedge away. So coastal areas likely will start to see the rain showers increasing and the temperatures increasing. But deep inland, back up towards, say, Halifax, Northampton counties, if the cold air wedge doesn't get inland enough, if you don't erode the wedge enough, you're going to have freezing rain. This is going to be an issue, but like I said, we're still 7 days out from this, so a lot can change in that. And we've seen this look a couple of times on the models, on not only the European but also the GFS, several model runs, but they've been scattered about. They haven't been necessarily defined, and we haven't seen a run-to-run consistency. But we're just looking out here to kind of see what's going on. But for the time being, we're just going to keep it as plain old rain, but it at least looks like there will be a decent chance of at least something happening as far as precipitation is falling out of the sky as we head towards next week. And once again, that very fast, very active southern branch of the jet stream is going to continue to be a fixture in our weather pattern here across eastern North Carolina. That's going to do it for me here on the ENC Weather Update. Stay up to date with us. Facebook, Twitter, WNCT.com, and also our brand new Storm Team 9 app in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store, which you can download for free. Get live radar, and if you need warnings, the National Weather Service warnings that go out, it sends you a push alert that tells you and uses the GPS signal within your phone to actually send out the alert. If you're inside the warning, you get the warning. If you're not inside the warning, you don't. And it's great stuff there with our brand new Storm Team 9 app. Have a great rest of your evening, a great day tomorrow, and a great weather week ahead.